All right, we're starting a little bit late tonight. Guess for episode number 1 of the Unnamed podcast. Coming to you, I guess, from all over the place here, right? Got me from on the West Coast, or sorry, me on the East Coast. I am the. You know what? My lower third went off. I got to turn that back on. So I guess we're off to a good start then for episode 1. So I'm here with DP over there in Phoenix. Give a wave. Say something. Say something intelligent.
Representing the 602. That's right.
And then
this is true to form for us. I mean, we wouldn't have it any other way.
Yeah. And then we got also John out there in where are you in Tucson?
He's down in
the old Pueblo.
Yeah. So we're covering 3 time zones here. Out here at 9:15 on the East Coast, 6:15 on the West Coast. Just in case you cared, I don't know if you do or not, but so we're actually this is the first show, so I think for like the beginning of this show, kind of go over what we're talking about and what basically what we're doing on this show. I think like we kind of had this meeting at the beginning of the week to kind of figure out what we're gonna do. We want to keep it kind of light. We're just gonna be talking about stuff, nothing too serious. But we would pick basically a topic for the week. So this week we're actually picking technology because I got to pick it and I'm a technology guy. So we're actually looking at what top 5.
Instead of Shark Week, we got Geek Week.
Geek Week, yeah.
Geek
well, that's gonna be down the line. I'm gonna put a lot of time into that one. So this week we're actually gonna discuss the 5 top, our personal top 5. Like it doesn't necessarily have to be inventions of the last 10 years, but just what happened over the last 10 years that we think is the top 5 most technological things that happened over the last 5 years.
So the most significant for us individually, would you say?
The way I picked them is some of them are individual for me, but some of them are. I think that like a lot of people would agree this is something that's improved their life or what piece of technology has improved what they or how they do things these days. So
I went with things that were that I thought were just good for everybody. If I had to pick, like top 5 advancements for me, the hot dog bun would have had to have been one of them, but I left that off. So I went with stuff that everyone would probably agree on.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we were picking in the last 10 years, so I don't think the hot dog bun, was invented in the last 10 years. I do agree with you that, otherwise we just have greasy fingers. Because
a hot dog bun is ongoing perfection.
But we did do a show last week. We called it Episode 0. It was more of kind of just to see how things worked and how we could talk and obviously how we can talk, as the banter as we go and how we talk together and all that kind of stuff. We kind of knew that it would work because we've had some long conversations on the phone. I know you guys have had hours. Yeah. Yeah. Well, I know,
Well, it's normally, when we visit about quantum physics or nanotechnology today, we had a 4-hour discussion. But they're very in-depth conversations and use a lot of brain power, so it's not for the faint of heart.
We've had some pretty in-depth staff meetings prior to this monumental event this evening.
Unfortunately, not much has pertained to the actual event.
Well, this is another thing is that DP and I are brothers, so we've had some pretty long conversations. Typically after I left home, because we were not that friendly at home. Typically was me getting beat up and running out of the house and trying to find someplace to hide. So that, you know how it is.
That's just the way we show each other love, right?
But there's an important thing we did last week that I wanted to bring up. And that is our sports picks. And I wanted to show you that I'm perfect in all the sports picks. I don't even know anything about basketball, but I picked the 5 remaining seeds, and I got a perfect thing out of it. And you
Well,
watch
too
basketball.
bad. Too bad you didn't bet a bunch of money on that.
Yeah. If I would have bet money, then the bet would be go against me because obviously I would have lost. But at the end of this show, we'll go back and we'll pick the sporting events for the following
All
week because we got some more. It's basically down to the final 8 on hockey, final 8 on basketball. So it's good. It's good to go. Although both basketball and hockey, they're well into
So,
the second.
so does that mean we'll have John Fisher's ironclad pick of the week?
Yeah,
Well, I'm going to have to do a quick Google search to pull up team uniform colors so that I can make my picks more accurately.
he's gonna have to go first because
No.
we'll base our opinion off of his.
Yeah, you got the ironclad. If you're going to bet money, the house, the thing, this is the cannot lose John Fisher pick of the week.
I think I might have done better than Dave. I'm not sure, but for those of you who are tuning in, at the end of the show, you'll find out.
Well, in hockey, you did better than Dave. Dave got 0 out of the 2 that he was picking. He picked San Jose and Colorado to go on to the second round in both those.
Well, I like Sharks.
Yeah.
And what's the other one I picked?
You like avalanches?
Yes, I'm into avalanches. Who's not into a lot of big white snow falling over the place? Yes, I know about as much about hockey as maybe you do about some of the other sports. It's just not my forte. I don't watch it. I don't practice it. I don't play it. I know nothing about it. If it wasn't for you, I wouldn't even know the sport exists. So.
Yeah. Yeah, well, John came in second place. He picked Minnesota to go on, and I was 100% again.
That was my pick of the week.
Yeah, that was
ironclad.
Yeah, we definitely have to put that as a segment. John Fish's ironclad
pick of the week.
Take it to Vegas, baby.
Take it to Vegas. You can take that to the bank.
And not only do you have to make the pick, you have to tell us why.
No.
Yeah,
You're going to get my secrets. You're going to have to buy my book like everybody else.
So in basketball, this is actually pretty interesting because we picked a lot. There was only like 2, I think, picks that were kind of out that we had discrepancies on. One of them was that you guys said that Atlanta would beat out Indy, and I picked Indy, even though Atlanta at the time was winning the series. I picked Indy over that one, and of course
you're going to pick Oklahoma over Miami.
You know what?
Who are they playing? You don't even know who they're playing.
No, I know they're not playing. They're not playing Miami, but we'll at the
taking them over the Bears.
Yeah. I think that at the end of the show we'll definitely go back and we'll do the picks because I don't want to get into all that, but
all right, let's.
Yeah, I just don't want to. I don't want to spoil. I don't want to do any spoilers. So I guess what we could do, we'll just roll right into the technology talk. 'Cause I know that John is really itching to get into that technology talk. I know he's got the most to say.
Wow. Well, thank you for the compliment.
Yeah. So I guess what we'll do, we'll start. Have you? Do you want me to go first as far as my top 5, and then we can start talking?
And that would be gracias por el cumplido for the Spanish listeners out there. Thank you for the compliment.
Yeah, that was the worst Spanish accent. You live in.
Well, I still am white. I got to work on my accent.
Oh,
well, that was bad.
All right. Okay.
I'm going to start off. We're just going to start our top 5 technological advancements in the last 10 years that I thought. And I'm going to preference some of them because.
Can I sort mine? Let me sort mine.
Oh man, didn't we tell you to do this before the show?
I'm a bad listener. This is just like high school all over again.
Oh man, I needed the.
Mom, I got my homework done.
Oh, I got my headgear on. Oh.
Okay.
All right, you don't need to sort yours because I'm going through mine first. You can start crossing things off because I guarantee I've probably got at least 1 or 2 on your list. I'm not so sure about John's list, but
okay. How do you want to do this? So for instance, if your first one or number 5,
we're just gonna cross it off your list. and you're
Okay,
you will tell
so
us.
I have none left.
Well, awesome.
All right, let's get it going. Where are we at? What's your number 5?
All right, my number 5 is the DVR, and I know the DVRs have been out for a long time. I mean, they were out longer than 10 years. They've been out. I think they started. Actually, the first DVR that I got was in 2000, I think, somewhere around there. But it's kind of revolutionized the whole way that you. And I think we talked about this at one point, but this revolutionized the way that we consume our entertainment. We are no longer need to sit around and say, "Hey, I can't go out. It's 8 o'clock."
Murder, She Wrote's on.
Yeah. The Meet the Kardashians is on. I got to stick around and watch that. But no, I really think that is. It's just changed the way that we all. I mean, we still call it taping it, even though there's no tape involved. But
It's more a reference than anything else. I mean, that's how we always referred to it. We know what you, but and truthfully, it is on my list, and I was trying to decide where I was going to put that one because it has revolutionized the way we watch television, especially in our busy days today. You have the ability to record the shows that you want to watch and watch the shows when you want to watch them. And
they're getting so advanced too that you can, if I wanted to watch it on my phone, I could just pipe it over to my phone and hey, I'm standing in line at the DMV because they don't work or whatever. But you could sit there and watch a movie or watch a show or do whatever. I had a commute. I commute downtown DC every once in a while, and it takes over an hour to get down there each way. And I take the bus down there, and it was great to be able to pull up and watch shows on my phone. Even with things like Netflix and things like that, which I'm kind of throwing into
the DVR range.
Well, actually, I'm not because I know that's actually another number on mine. I have it down here as another thing. Never mind.
Wow.
Scratch that.
I took it. I took a completely different spin on this. I had to break my list into 3 categories: A, B's, and C's, to try and break down all the A stuff, my 1 through 5, and I had the DVR on my list, but it was actually in my group of C's that didn't even make an A. So this is gonna be really fun. Because it made my list, but boy, it was way down on the bottom of my list.
I don't know. It's kind of funny if you look back 10 years ago. You mentioned DVR. There would be a handful of people that knew it, and TiVo was out. TiVo came out in '99, and people knew about it, but not too many people had DVRs. Now everybody's got a DVR. You'd be hard pressed to find people that don't have a DVR. People have DVRs that didn't even know they have a DVR in their house.
Well, let me ask you this: how much programming do you watch on a daily or weekly basis that is live programming that you actually watch live?
I
watch a lot of live programming, but the TV's constantly on in my house for background noise. But to actually sit and watch something from start to finish without doing other stuff while I'm watching it, I would say probably 90% of what I watch is DVR, except for live sporting events. And even those, during football season, I probably watch just about every game tape delayed.
You see, I'm kind of the opposite. Sporting events, I have to watch them live. I can't watch them tape delayed. For something especially if it's a team that I really love, I just can't watch.
Drives you crazy, doesn't it?
Drives me insane. I gotta know the score. I gotta know what's happening. Even if there's times
you're 2 minutes behind.
There's times when we're going out or we have something we have to do, and I'm like, okay, well, I'll record the game because I want to watch it. I'm still looking on my phone for the score. I want to know. It's happening now. I need to know. Now, almost every other programming that I watch is on the DVR, unless I'm just surfing and being lazy and sitting on the couch, which doesn't happen very often. I'm usually lazy sitting on my chair.
Not with your hours. Yeah, I could see that. I mean, where would you squeeze the time in? But seriously, I don't know how much regular programming you watch, or day-to-day, or sitcoms, that type of thing. 0 of them I will watch. Even if I'm there at the time that it starts, I'm not going to do it because I don't want to sit through a commercial. So I'd start it 10, 20 minutes late, and that rarely even happens. But if that was the case, that's what I'd do, just to avoid commercials now. But other than that, other than sporting events or a little bit of the news that I watch, I would say I watch 100% of what I watch is DVR'd.
So
I always watch the news on tape delay. That way I can feel like I'm more in touch with what's going on.
So get me to get it straight. 50% of the time it works 100% of the time.
That doesn't make any sense.
Sure.
Okay, well let's move on a little bit. We need John to step up here and see what's on his list.
All right, so coming in at number 5 on my list, I'm gonna go off the reservation a little bit and pick one I thought was kind of unique, and that would be the hybrid technology in automobiles, the part gas, part electric engine in cars.
Well, I don't think that's off the radar at all, and I'm not surprised you pick it for the fact that you own one. No, the fact that you own one, I mean, no other reason than that, but I don't think that's, I actually think that is a significant milestone here in technology in the past decade. It didn't make my list because I don't really care about it, and I don't mean it like that, but it just didn't make my technology list. But I don't think that's out of line at all.
Well, I think it's changed. It's changed what goes on in people and transportation, and it's extremely unique technology. I mean, I do drive a hybrid. I drive it because I put on a lot of miles, and it's a very cost-effective thing. I'd like to think I'm a little bit green, but that's not my. That's probably the third reason why I drive it. The second would be because it saves me a lot of money. But I mean, really, why I drive is because the chicks dig the hybrid.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. But that's the world we live in today. I mean, Tesla has had an electric car for some time, but you're seeing more and more people following suit. Jason and I were actually talking about this today. BMW has actually come out with an all-electric car now.
Well, hybrid's not an all-electric car. A hybrid actually runs on both technologies, but yeah, there are some all-electric cars, and I think probably a year or two from now that would probably be on the list because the electric car really isn't feasible unless you live in a small town because you can't drive more than 100 miles on it on a single charge. But
not entirely true. I mean, the Teslas drive 190 miles on a single charge, and they do a charge in, I think it's 3.5 hours if you have the right hookup at your house, and then you could also charge where you go. But I think the electric cars are going to actually. I think we'll see a lot more come out of the electric cars. And my biggest problem is that with the hybrid cars and the electric cars, with the exception of Tesla, they look so bad. I'm a performance car. I love high performance cars.
I'm going to pretend like I didn't hear you say that.
Until they come out with a high performance car.
Hybrid.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, I was kind of hopeful when BMW came out with that electric car, but then I saw it. It looks crappy. It really doesn't look like a BMW. It looks like an electric car.
It's an electric car with a BMW emblem on the hood.
Yeah,
and a lot of and I understand what a hybrid is, but there are even some of the all electric cars that come with a gas option.
Well, I mean, when they start making electric cars or even hybrid cars that can have the same type of performance that you can get out of a gas car, then I'll consider it. But I want to be able, when I hit the gas, I want to go. And those. So
I would tell you that my hybrid, and I do not drive a Tesla. I drive a Toyota Prius, but my hybrid has as much, if not more, acceleration than my wife's full-size Suburban. You would be amazed at the technology of how much acceleration and how much power the car really has. That's what.
I don't
That's
know.
why the chicks dig it. It's that, it's that raw horsepower of the electric engine. It's the vibration. It's
It's the sleek, it's the cool, it's all rolled into one. I get it.
Oh,
I mean,
yeah.
I see it.
I want to be able to hit the gas and go from 0 to 60 in less than 5 seconds. That's what I want. And the Tesla can do it, but no, there's no hybrid out there that can do that.
No, not. No, you're right. If you want to go that fast, then you're gonna need to.
Well,
you do something else.
Living out here on the East Coast, when you're trying to get on the freeway, you need to step up. And I hate being behind one of those the hybrid cars because they just don't go.
Wow, I'm not feeling any love here.
No, I do think it. I personally think it's a great advancement. It needs to be advanced more. Because I definitely don't drive very much, and an electric car would do great for me. But the problem I have is I really have very small. I can get the $60,000-$70,000 Tesla, or I can get a
$60,000 or $70,000.
Yeah, or you can get the Chevy Leaf, and the Chevy Leaf is not even a cheap automobile. You're looking at almost $30,000 for that car. Well, I must pay $30,000 in a car to save money. I'm not saving any money. You can get a cheap like a Volkswagen Jetta for $17,000. I'll pay for gas. It's not going to. In 5 years, it won't even match the savings. You know what I mean? So
Well,
I mean,
that did go in. I did take that into consideration when I bought the car.
It's either you either have to say I'm environmentally conscious and that's why I'm getting a hybrid, because you're not saving any money because they're not that cheap. They're really not that cheap. They're fairly expensive cars, and they're expensive to maintain. Once you get out of the 5-year range on them, they start to get really expensive to maintain. But that being said, I'm all for it. I want them to build them a nice high performance hybrid or a high performance electric car that doesn't break the bank. And
But how far down the road do you think you are for that technology to catch up, where you would have the performance that you're looking for in a hybrid?
I think if we did this show in 10 years, we'd have it. I think in 10 years we're gonna have cars electric cars that can do that are, when I say inexpensive, I'm saying reasonably that families can afford them, because most people can't afford a Tesla, and you're not looking for it as a family car anyways because it's only a 2-seater. I think they do make a 4-seater Tesla now too, but when you start, the more people you put into an electric car, the less the shorter your range goes, because obviously you got to push around more people. All
right, well, we've got through 2 picks so far.
Yeah, so this is stuff that could go on. We could go on.
Yeah, we got to keep it rolling then, and maybe,
Dave, let's see your number 5.
Well, I'm going to have to roll the dice here on the last 2, but I'm going to go, because I could speak a little more intelligently on this one. I'm going to go with social networking.
Nerd.
Come on. Who does not use some form of social networking? This is
what
change.
Are we doing right now?
Absolutely. This
Dave
is
has a special attraction to social networking.
No.
Entirely different show.
Settle down. I'm talking Facebook, Twitter, what have you. This is the way we communicate today, the way we keep in touch with each other. This is real time. Everybody doing their status updates and pictures of their babies, and I'm pregnant and what I had to eat tonight. I mean, this has absolutely changed the way we communicate with one another, and also the way we share information. I mean, if you want to share pictures of your family or friends or your loved ones or your kids or Christmas or holidays or what have you, it's easier now than it ever has been. You load some pictures and you can share them with everybody. And I think that's been a big revolution in the way we keep in touch. I'm probably in touch with a lot more people, not necessarily the people that I care to be in touch with, than I probably ever would be, because the fact of social networking. And we're all into it into different degrees. I know, John and I have even talked here recently about the way he keeps up to date and some of the news and some of the alerts that they receive through an app down in their local market. I guess it's Tucson, Arizona, or What's Happening Tucson maybe was the name of it. But between Facebook and some of these other networking sites, I mean, I think it's in the last several years, it's really revolutionized the way we keep in touch and the way we share information.
I kind of agree with that, and my number one pick will actually kind of merge in together if somebody else doesn't pick my number one before I get to it. But yeah,
your number one's my number two.
I wouldn't be bragging about that.
No, but I mean, what's your take on that though? I mean, would that even make your guys' lists? I mean,
it didn't make my list.
Social networking made my B list.
Okay.
So you're saying that you think social networking is more important than the DVR?
No, I didn't say that. DVR was up higher. John had it as a C.
Yeah.
I don't know that it. I did not base my list personally on me. What's important to me, I looked at the way I came up with my list was what's important, not specifically to me, but what do I think made some real dramatic changes to life and lifestyle and had an impact on everyone's life. I took a more global approach to it. I think the DVR is huge, and it made my list. I mean, but you have to understand that my ABC list was close to 25 to almost 30 items when I finally broke it down. So yes, I think globally, the big picture, social networking has much more of an effect on people than the DVR.
Okay. Well, yeah. I mean, that's kind of how I pick my list too. Is that? But we'll go on. I'll start.
What do you got there, Dave?
What's that?
What do you got there, Dave?
Oh, just get me a juice box.
Beverage. All right, we're going to go on to number 4s because we spent right now we spent over 15 minutes just talking about the one list on our list.
Okay, so are you up next?
Yeah, I'm up next with number 4 on my list, and this is kind of a combo. It's more about big name sites on the internet, but like Amazon.com. This is the thing too. Amazon.com started in 1994, so it's actually 20 years ago that it started. But really, it didn't really kick off to now. Now we're almost everybody is ordering stuff online, and using Amazon and things like that. So I'm thinking about just basically online shopping. We don't even have to leave our houses to get everything that we possibly need or want. Everything can be delivered to us. I think it's one of those things that kind of revolutionized how people act today. I mean, we were just talking about today. Now you can go to Best Buy and say, hey, I saw this on Amazon.com, and they match prices too.
That was going to be a comment I was going to make. I think that's probably one of the biggest things it's done, and John and I know this very well because the world we live in our industry, and it's probably affected everybody's industry, but I see it every day, is a price matching. You see this and you have to deal with it. And it's not even other sites and that kind of thing, but since the advent of this, people are checking. I mean, we've made it so easy for a consumer to check one price or one outfit versus another outfit that it's changed the way we do business.
Yeah, I would say that online shopping has totally changed economically what people do, both competition, like you said, you don't even have to leave your house anymore, and that's an interesting choice. That didn't make any of my lists. I completely overlooked that, and the really funny thing is I bought 2 things online this morning, an item that I was looking to buy at a Radio Shack that I ended up online shopping for afterwards, and found it for 20 cents on the dollar for what I paid for it at Radio Shack, and didn't even think to make my list. So my bad. Good choice. Good call.
Yeah.
What's my new camera I'm using today?
On Radio Shack, it's always cheaper someplace else.
Well, yeah, but nobody else had it. That's the thing. Right? When you're the only one that's got it, you can charge what you want for it.
Do they still sell those Tandies there? I don't know.
Candies.
No, Tandy with a T.
Oh, Tandy.
Yeah.
You talk about being a geek. When I
Well,
grew up, I used to go get the Radio Shack catalog and loved it.
Radio Shack used to be a great place. I'm not to go off the rails on this, but I do a lot of electronic type stuff, and Radio Shack used to be the place to go to get that kind of stuff. I went in there and I asked for simple things like diodes. They look at me like a deer in headlight. Like, what are you talking about? We've never heard. What is this sorcery you're speaking of? I'm like, okay, you're called Radio Shack. Diodes are in radios.
Well,
What do you think about that? Okay, thank you.
Well, they're still stuck. It's just like the Super Bowl commercial suggested. I mean, they're still stuck in the 80s. They want their 80s back, but
that was a great ad campaign for them because they really need to do something about their shops because they were just horrible.
you remember the Radio Shack Battery Club?
They had a ton of different little clubs like that. Yeah, it's funny.
Yeah, John and I talked about that because that's how John used to communicate with CB radios.
Hey,
we
dude,
talk.
I had a CB radio in my car, so I feel like I'm taking a lot of hits today. First it's the hybrid, now it's the CB radio. What's next? You don't like my hair?
Who beat you? Who beat you up about the high? Who said one cross thing about the
I think I'm
hybrid?
getting tag teamed by the brothers. I see how family works here.
And you're
It's all
apparently
about the
not.
family.
You're in the outer circle right now.
Remember, Fredo, don't ever speak bad against the family.
Is that a god?
Oh, this is going to lead us. Yeah, we're going to go into. That's going to be a segment eventually. John.
Well,
John wants to do movie quotes at some point, and I think it's a great idea actually, and he's good on movies, so it will be a lot of fun. And we enjoy movies too. I probably won't. I'm really good with movie quotes with a handful of movies. John's good with a lot of movie quotes and a lot broader range, so it will be fun, and we'll probably learn a lot. So I'm looking kind of forward to that.
Everybody's got their topic they want to pick,
Yeah, he's got movie quotes and hybrids. I mean, so we'll have to.
All right, so number 4 for me. Number 4 for me, and I lump this into one big category, and I hope I picked the right thing for it. But I called it, for lack of really understanding it, nanotechnology, meaning just the ability to make everything smaller, whether it's computer chips, electronics. I think that nanotechnology has changed technology completely to the point where it's made things affordable. It's nanotechnology today is what the microchip used to be probably back in the 70s. So I don't know if I picked the right thing, but nanotechnology before for me.
And I don't know if that's the totally appropriate word for what you're talking about. I mean, in the true sense of what nanotechnology is, but I do understand what you're saying. I mean, that's really what we've gone to, is everything's smaller, more memory, better capability, better computing powers, and so on and so forth. I don't know if Jason knows, being the tech guy here, if you could enlighten us on nanotechnologies.
Well, I mean, nanotechnology is manipulating, making, technological, I guess, beings that are at the atomic level, which is a lot smaller than you and I could possibly see. At the atomic molecular level, it just that's when they a lot of things about nanotechnology you hear about are in the medical field and things like that.
So I called it the wrong thing. I guess I should be saying
okay.
Microtechnology.
Microtechnology
Right,
is probably a good
more appropriate, description for what we're talking about.
Think about it too. I mean, we sent a guy to our moon, with technology that is less powerful than what you have in your phone. They were
Way less.
slide rules to calculate trajectories and things like that. They didn't have computers to do that. They did all these slide rules, and then they would punch the numbers into this little eight. You know, I don't even know if it was an 8-bit computer. It was just this little small little computer that they use. It is pretty amazing, and we take it for granted. And I say this because I'm a big gamer, and I think that people take for granted what goes into making all this stuff and making all of it happen. And it's just, you know, the stuff that we grew up on, you know, the Atari 2600s and things like that when we used to play, and we thought it was just the greatest thing ever. And now we look back at it and we're like, how could we have possibly even played that stuff? It's so horrible. But
And that's like anything though, and I do remember also growing up with the Commodores and what have you. Remember sitting there for a couple of hours or whatever it was with the computer magazine and entering the program in to do a little basic program with a little shuttle or that type of deal. I mean, entering a little bit of code to have a game and that type of deal. I mean, we've obviously come a long way since then, but that's just you could probably apply that to just about anything.
yeah, it's funny too because when you're talking about all this technology and stuff. I mean, it really is. You know, the Commodore 64. The reason why it was called 64 is it had 64K of memory. So most modern computers, you couldn't even open up a Word document in 64K. I mean, that's you know, that might be a little exaggeration about it, but 64K is nothing. And actually, in the Commodore 64s, you only had half of that to actually deal with the program with, because the other half was all in the computer operating system.
But we didn't have hard drives. We had tape backups. We had disk drives. We had that kind of deal.
Yeah. Yeah, it's pretty amazing. I mean, when you think back on it, you know, just the technological advances that happened in our lifetime, you know, the 70s, 80s, 90s. I mean, it's incredible how much stuff, you know, when I was born, we just went to the moon. I mean, it was literally like 2 years ago, you know, that they went to the moon. And now space exploration is, you know, people don't even watch it anymore. You know, nobody even knows when these launches happen and things like that. But it's kind of amazing. All right, number 4 on your list, Dave.
Well, I had the floppy disk, but was that the last 10 years? Actually, I've scratched a couple off. We actually the DVR and went through social networking. I went with I've got Bluetooth on my list. Bluetooth technology. I use it every single day. I use it with several devices. I don't know how many paired devices I have with Bluetooth, whether it's a speaker or a earpiece, and there's just so many more applications are using Bluetooth technology, and I liked it. I did my list on kind of a short time frame here, but when I thought about that, I thought it absolutely fit the bill. So there you have it, Bluetooth technology.
That was a pretty close one for me, making my A list. It made the B list, but not quite the A list.
Man, I can't believe it. Bluetooth beat out DVR. Nah. I do.
I see a pattern here with you and DVR.
I like the DVR, but hey,
dude, you watch. I guess when you sit home all day, the DVR is kind of important, huh?
I watch one show on the DVR. There's one show in this family that I watch on the DVR, and that's The Big Bang Theory. That's the only thing I watch. I take that back. There is a second show, Archer, but.
Well, there's those other shows that we can't talk about.
No, I don't.
You can't DVR them.
Oh, you still have videotape for that stuff.
Yeah, I still have videotape. I don't even have a VCR.
You want to hear something scary? I have 3 VCRs in my house.
Wow.
What's a VCR?
I don't even have a DVD player anymore.
What's a VCR? Yeah. I actually do have a Blu-ray player that's not connected. I don't use a Blu-ray player. Everything I either stream, on-demand type of thing. I don't remember the last time I put a CD, DVD, Blu-ray into anything. I just don't do it. I guess I'm a little ahead of my time, but I just don't. You know what? Jason and I talked about this probably extensively some time ago, and I just got away from that when people were collecting VHS tapes and then the DVDs and the Blu-rays, and everybody was on that kick, and I don't know. I guess I perceive things a little differently. First of all, there are not too many movies or shows or what have you that I want to watch multiple times. There's a few. I mean, we all got our favorites, but there's not a lot. And instead of having a huge collection, I'd rather forego that. And on the odd occasion that I'd want to watch something, I could find it by another source, whether it's Netflix or renting on demand or that type of deal, and just get away from a bunch more clutter. So I saw that a long, long time ago, and I've just done away with any kind of collection or saving CDs or Blu-rays or what have you.
Yeah, that kind of okay. Well, so that actually is my number 3 on my list is online streaming, which I think has revolutionized everything. I was one of those DVD hoarders, and I would have just all these movies and end up watching nothing, or watching the same ones over and over again. So I ended up just saying, you know what, I can get them on demand, almost everything I want. I mean, I have HBO Go, I've got Netflix, I've got Amazon Prime. I mean, I got 50 different ways to watch everything that I ever want. So I mean,
Wow, I feel kind of out of touch now.
Yeah.
My honest opinion about the Blu-rays and DVDs and all that kind of stuff and VH from way back when, I think people more were into collecting them like stamps or coins or anything else than ever had any desire to really watch those. You've got 500 movies sitting on your shelf. You're not going to watch all those. You got the ability. Yeah, it's cool that you got them there. You have company, but I mean, it's such a rarity that you're really going to some library. I think it was more of a collection thing. Look at I've got 500 movies that I could watch kind of deal. I think it was much more about that than it ever was for any other purpose. Us as Americans do that with everything. We're just collectors and hoarders, and we like to hang on to stuff. I've got away from that. I'm done with the clutter and done with the crap. It's out with it. Today, in the world we live in today, you have the ability to download, stream, watch, view somehow anything you want almost instantaneously with little effort.
Yeah.
Well, I guess I'm out of touch. Hey, hang on. I got to turn the cassette tape over in my office here.
Oh, you recording this?
Do you? I mean, honestly, John. I mean, I know you're a little bit more old school on some of that stuff, but is there shows or movies or stuff that you watch on a regular basis? Is there stuff that you still collect or hang on to?
I do have a movie collection. I'm very selective on what I put in it. I still like DVDs. I don't use on demand that much. It's just I haven't made that switch yet. So do I watch them all the time? No, but I do have them, and it's the stuff I want to watch. So I know that I have it. I know I can watch it whenever I want to watch it. Some you can't find everything on demand. Netflix doesn't have everything. I don't want to pay for it every time I want to watch it. So yeah, I'm still a little behind the curve on some of that technology stuff.
I think retailers love us as Americans because what do? I mean, you go to the store, you go to Target or one of the big mass merchandisers and what have you. What do? They take these movies that have been out forever, and then they have a sale on them. They're $20 or $15 or $9.99. Eventually, they make it in the $5.99 deal. I swear you'll watch people walk into one of those stores, they'll peruse those things, and they'll start digging through the $6 and $10 bins, and they're picking stuff out that they probably never going to take the wrapper off of because it's a good deal, and they can put it in their collection. That's all I think that is for the masses. I mean, maybe there's some people out there that are actually going to go home and they really want to watch Dirty Dancing again. But I think for the most of us, I mean, it's just going to your collection.
Is that another shot at me, the Dirty Dancing thing?
It possibly could. I mean, you never put baby in a corner.
Are you talking about the older one or the newer one, the forbidden one? I don't know.
No, seriously. I mean, they just eat that up. I mean, they could take this DVD or movie or Blu-ray or what have you, special edition, throw something else in there, and I mean, how much money do they make on that over and over and over again?
We should have made this a top 3 list.
Hey, are we gonna take it? Should we take a 10-minute break and then have hour 2 of the 3-hour show?
Yeah. Oh, all right, John. What is your number 3?
My number 3 is something called and I don't have to maybe explain it unless you guys are really up to speed on it. My number 3 is something called the 3D printer.
Oh yeah, I know.
I saw an interesting TV show about it on Sunday morning and read an article, and if you know the technology better than I do, jump in. But the 3D printer is something that actually allows you can create plastic objects 3-dimensionally the same way you would printing an item. And I don't know if I got it completely right, but they use it for everything from creating prosthetic devices to plastic toys, the actual print quality. I mean, that's as deep as I can get into explaining it, and because I don't understand it completely. But my number 3 is the 3D printer.
That was a 0% on my radar. I do know what it's about. I think I watched a deal one time on a dad that created a prosthesis for maybe it was his son or something, and I do remember seeing that, but I'm a little confused because I just don't, especially how you kind of clarified how your list was. I don't see how that fits in, especially above the DVR. I mean.
Oh yeah, I'm watching a back episode of Big Bang Theory is hundreds of times more important than creating a new foot for a 5-year-old kid so he can walk again. I don't know what I was thinking. I probably just shut myself up.
But wait a minute, come on now. I know they built some prosthesis with that printer deal, and we've got all that other CAD stuff out there and what have you, but that's probably not as practical.
Wait, I got an idea, Dave. I know how I can get it higher up on your list. And if there's kids out there listening, they should probably cover their ears.
Oh, I know where you're going with this one.
So think about this, Dave. It creates 3D objects out of plastic, and just kind of let your mind wander. Maybe instead of creating like a foot for a little 5-year-old kid, maybe something else that you might find useful in your life. Would that rank it higher on your list?
Plastic hot dogs. I mean, they're not. I mean, it's not no nutritional value.
Well, and I gotta say that I know a lot about the 3D printers. I will probably own one within the next 5 years because I think that they're incredible. And the alternative to
because they're cool.
The alternative to 3D printing is actually going out and using what they call injective molding, where they actually inject plastic into these steel molds. You have to make the steel molds. The steel molds cost more than these 3D printers. It takes a while to print stuff out in the 3D printers, and actually the 3D printer would probably be, I'd put that at number 6 on my list. I still think there's some other things that
like the DVR.
Yeah, the DVR.
I'm surprised. I think Jason. I think it's something that I would think that you think is probably cool, but
I think it's cool.
But what are the? I mean, if you're talking from a humanitarian standpoint. What are the most, and I know we said prostheses, we build those, we got companies that do that for other stuff that are really good, solid, engineered stuff. What is real practical applications in your mind, other than more entertainment type stuff and more fun stuff?
Absolutely not. Actually, it is.
Well, I'm asking because I don't know.
It's rapid prototyping. So let's say I designed a new heart valve. I could print it out, test it out, see how it works before I even do mass production on it. Because when you start to go to injection molding or you go to manufacturing, you have to invest a lot of money into that. What the 3D printer allows you to do is create these things really quick
without any of that.
Yeah, and you look at it and you see how it works. You can create anything with these 3D printers, and I mean, it's amazing what you could create with the 3D printers. And I don't. In fairness, I don't know a lot about them. I did see a little blurb on it, so maybe I can't.
You know what it's going to do? It's going to revolutionize and lower the price of dildos.
Hey, John, this is a family program.
Right
Okay.
now,
I told all the kids not to
You
listen.
you did say hot dog, right? That's what you meant.
Yeah, right. That's what I meant.
I tell and just to put it kind of not to go too far down this, but
Yeah, tell that to John.
in cost wise, they're actually fairly affordable right now. They're not really affordable to the masses. They're about 2,000.
So what's? Oh,
Uh,
that's affordable.
yeah.
So that was a good one for me, huh?
So the printer's $2,000. What would it take? I mean, obviously, you don't use ink. Whatever the material is that you use, is that expensive?
No, it's actually fairly inexpensive. It's a filament. It's basically it comes in these big spools, and it basically melts the filament, and then the filament actually, regels back up. It's a plastic.
I'll have to look into that because they're.
It's how they made those fancy masks in Mission Impossible 3, probably.
Well,
I mean,
I know that in Hollywood they're using it to make objects for movies and things like that. It's they're just coming down in price. I mean, you can get 3D printers for as low as $400. There are 3D printers out there. They're not as good and not as high resolution. And when we say high resolution, when you're actually printing something out, if it's the lower the resolution, the bumpier they kind of are. They're not as smooth. The higher resolution, the more smooth they are.
Okay, we better move on. This is a different show.
Oh, man.
Yeah. So, Gabe, what's your number 3?
I thought we were all adults here.
Yeah, well, you knew better than that. Okay, am I up? Because we probably need to kick this in gear. I've actually everything. Well, I've got 2 things left on my list. I'm going to throw these both out there because we're already over time. And I know we did speak briefly about this before the show, and you said this was kind of cheating, but I am going to say, and this isn't I'm going to do kind of 2 parts here. I did have the internet on there, but I was talking more about search engines, and we actually talked a little bit about this week, like Google, Yahoo, really Google more than anything, because we had a pretty good in-depth conversation about Google and where it came from and what have you. But the reason I picked that is simply because exactly what they are is they're an organized information. They have taken the ability to reach out there and do any type of research. I mean, at your fingertips in seconds. You can go regardless of what it is. I mean, you do a search. I mean, within seconds or fraction of seconds, you have results back. So that was definitely a big one on my list, and I know we talked about it a little bit, and you said that was kind of cheating, but I mean, how do you not acknowledge that? Yeah. The other, and we can, we can
on that we had a conversation about it too. Is you can't say something and then be like, oh yeah, you want to make a bet? Your bets are over in 5 minutes when somebody looks it up. I mean, you can't have those bar bets. You used to have those bar bets that would last for months and stuff like that. And
yeah, because you had to, first of all, you had to find somebody that actually could afford Encyclopedia Britannica and go home and spend the time digging through it and photocopy it so they could share it with you. I mean, it's revolutionized the way we access information, and and this is only going to continue in the future. I mean, they will have every bit of information that will be included that you can access through the internet. I mean, it's just such a huge leap that I couldn't ignore that. I had to at least acknowledge that. The other big thing, and we were talking about this, and I'm guessing because it hasn't come up, this has got to be on everybody's list, is the smartphone.
Yeah, that was my number 1.
That was my number 1 also, was the smartphone.
Yeah. I think it's so ingrained into our society right now. Everybody you see, I think there was somebody out there, I can't remember who quoted it, or who made the quote, but they were like, sometimes it's okay to be bored. Sometimes it's okay to not have something to do. And to actually be by yourself and be bored and actually it gets the mind working.
But You know what this is, though? We've created this. This is all part of evolution, right? I mean, am I wrong? I mean, this is just part of what our race has created. Technology, everything that we've done. I mean, this is just another step in that evolutionary process. You know, the smartphone now. I mean, John, and we were talking about this the other day. He used to tease me about my old phones. He's like, "Oh, can you make phone calls on that thing too?" I mean, it really has got to a point that it's not. I mean, we should stop calling it a smartphone. We shouldn't even call it a phone. Phone's just another function. It's a PDA. I mean, you text, you email. It's a camera. I mean, what don't you do with it? It is so ingrained in our lives. It's my alarm clock. It's my clock. It's everything to me. We've also discussed. I mean, I would be more upset losing my whatever we're going to call it, my smartphone, over my wallet. I mean, that is something that, you know, and keeping a G rated, how many times you touch your smartphone every day? I mean, it's always within, I mean, if you're at home, it's always within arm's reach of you. It's in your pocket. It's next to you. We've all got them. I mean, I haven't touched mine in a little while now, and I'm kind of feeling like it's missing me.
Wow.
But
Well,
I mean, seriously, come on.
I think something that's kind of interesting on the and we could probably have an entire show about the smartphone and how it has changed society and a generation growing up. And tonight's not the night to do that, but just to kind of plant that seed, there was recently a movie that came out about a guy who had a relationship, fell in love with the voice on his smartphone.
Yeah, what was it?
It was called Her. And
that's right.
He falls in love basically.
Oh, I thought it was Siri.
Well, no, they never called it Siri. They couldn't because of Apple. But yes, in essence, it's Siri. And he falls in love with Siri, and she's lying in bed with the phone pointed at him, and they've taken Siri to another level where it's almost like artificial intelligence, but. Yeah, so obviously that's the direction we're going when people are starting to think about having a relationship with their electronic devices.
But that's the world we live in. You know, I play words with friends. I play it every day. There's probably 7 or 8 people that I play with on a fairly regular basis. And this is, I mean, in today's day and age, we probably don't think too much of it. But I've actually been playing with one of my longest standing games that I've been playing for over 2 years is with a gal from Malaysia. We've actually become friends. We don't talk a whole lot, but occasionally we'll kind of have some dialogue just back and forth about what's going on. But I mean, how could you even fathom that before now? I mean, we take it for granted, but I mean, this is like worlds away. I mean, we've since become friends on Facebook, and it's kind of interesting looking at her pictures and back and forth, because we're just totally different worlds, totally different people. But it's just, I mean, it's no big deal, and it's in real time that we play a game back and forth. And it all started by chance. It was a random deal. But that is just such an interesting thing to me, and just such a fascinating thing to me. And
hey.
All right, let me ramble.
What else is on? You must have one left, because
I have one more. Yeah,
one for you.
One more, and that's the GPS.
Oh, that's on my list. I didn't say it.
Oh yeah.
That's on my. That was on my A list, but it did not make the top 5.
Oh, this is this is probably the greatest thing. You don't have to know where you're going ever, ever anymore, unless it's a brand new development. But even that, you got if you have your smartphone with a GPS built into it, you never have to know where you're going.
And actually, GPS has been around for quite a while.
Oh, it's been around since the 70s.
Yeah,
just not in in mainstream society.
No, it wasn't. The government kept it from mainstream.
It's a military thing, and actually, the military GPS is
that's
way
sort of
better. As far as accuracy goes, is way better than what we have. But
wow. And I have one on my list, that nobody said, and I
Yeah, you said it. That was the G-rated part.
yeah. Well, because I only have one other on my list too, because smartphone was my number one. I had number two, the cloud.
Well, that's the cloud is the internet,
Good.
right? So, or are you thinking of something different?
Well, I mean, maybe it's not. Okay, maybe it is. The cloud to me means where data storage and for backup, and where I can. It's like having a file cabinet of the cloud. So maybe that technically is the internet. I don't know, but I look at the cloud and the internet as two different things.
No, I did you get that information off one of your VHS tapes?
Welcome to the cloud.
Wow, that was
No. Okay, I'm teasing a little bit, but I would consider the cloud part of the internet. I mean, it's all access through the internet. It's basically a bank of storage somewhere off-site.
What
I mean,
I guess when you refer to something as or when you refer to the cloud, it's the reason why they call it the cloud is it's basically it's the internet. It's off someplace where you really don't have any physical access to it. It's there.
right.
But a lot of things could be in the cloud. I mean, your music could be in the cloud. Your websites can be in the cloud. And so
Well, yeah, that's why I thought it was so critical. I mean, everything. I can keep my whole life up there, and I no longer have to worry about losing things or backing up stuff. And so, yeah, I guess technically it is a piece of the internet. So I was just thinking of it more as the cloud rather than that part of the internet being the cloud.
yeah, it's basically an off-site storage that
Yeah.
well, yeah. I mean, if you just want to talk, because like we use Google Drive for our documents and stuff like that. That's what that's really
same thing.
that would be more of the cloud than or actually kind of in that definition of the cloud. And that's one of those things that I use daily. I use it for work.
I think the cloud has kind of become the term, kind of like calling facial tissue Kleenex. The cloud seems to be the common person's generic term for off-site storage and that type of thing.
Yeah.
Okay, it's nice. I mean, we use it in a lot of different ways. I mean, I know as a company we'll use it where the company will upload a lot of information that any of us can access. It's just a place you can go when you're remote or you're not at home or wherever you may be that you can access that information.
All right. Well, I think we went over there. Yeah. So I don't know. Anybody else have anything else on their list?
That was my top five. My two close ones. My two A's that didn't quite make the list. You hit one of them, was GPS.
Oh, yeah.
And the other one, I had Bluetooth that was really close, but I had Wi-Fi. I had Wi-Fi on my, almost made it to the top five.
No.
Wi-Fi is definitely a big one.
Yeah.
There's so many of these that you kind of go back and forth. The way that we use them or access them, or the way we do it as a society. So those, I mean, that's interesting conversation for sure.
All right, I'm going to shift gears here. I think we've kind of touched the base on that, and we've kind of went over our hour, but who cares? We can go as long as we want. Let's actually go on to John's favorite part.
Oh, I was hoping we were going to skip that tonight.
Sports picks. No, we got to get these in. Let's get our sports picks in. So this was we're gonna do NBA first, and we're gonna start off with the Portland Trailblazers San Antonio series. All right, Dave, I'll let you go first on that one.
Well, I'm going to take it emotionally and otherwise. I'm a big diehard Blazer fan, and even though that maybe I should think something different, I just can't do it. I can't pick against my team, and I have to go with the Blazers.
I'm gonna go with the Blazers just because of Dave.
It's an emotional thing for me too. I mean, I want to pick the Blazers, but I'm
Would you ever pick? Would you ever pick against the Caps?
no, I wouldn't.
Okay.
Well,
Okay.
that's not true. I probably would if I really knew, like I really felt like they were going to be beat.
Well, I honestly think Portland has a chance. I just I think
Yeah.
that a lot of things have to happen. They're a good team. They're a younger team. I think they're a more talented team. I think the big thing they lack is experience, and I think that if they can overcome that and they can settle down, they got a real chance to win this series. But I
Yeah.
think that's going to be the difference in this series.
All right. I'm going to pick Portland as well. Although San Antonio did win game 1. So that's
Yeah, they crushed them.
yeah.
But
So next game on the list is Clippers at OKC.
well, why don't you take this one?
I am going to go with the Clippers, just as a gut feeling and being a California boy. I'm just going to go with LA on that one. No other reason than
I'm going to go with OKC.
All right.
And any dialogue on that, John?
No, you're going to have to.
Probably.
If you want any more in-depth analysis than that, you're going to have to pay the fee and go on my internet site.
Kevin Durant did win MVP, so maybe that had something to do with his decision there. I honestly, before this series started, I just did not see the Clippers winning. I just with Kevin Durant and Westbrook, I just thought they're too strong. But you know what? After watching Game 1, I just Clippers have just made me a believer. I just think they're going to manage to win this series. I think it's going to be maybe 5 or 6 games, but I think the Clippers pull this off.
Yeah, I think this one might actually go the distance because OKC they're a good team. They're not.
They're no slouch. Yeah.
Yeah. No, don't sell yourself short. You're a tremendous slouch. All right, next one up is the Wizards at the Pacers. This one is actually a weird one, and I'll let you go first, Dave, on that one, since this will be your.
Well, this isn't emotional. This is nothing. Pacers are young. They're fun. They're talented. They look like they got a ton of confidence. Pacers played very well this season. Had a great record, and I'm going Washington all the way. I think Washington's going to do it. I think they just believe in themselves, and I think they're going to get it done.
All right. How about you, John? Washington, Pacers.
Pacers.
All right. I'm actually going with Washington because it's just a hometown thing. Although last game was pretty stupid. I don't know. Did you watch any of the game? It was a very low scoring game. The Clippers did, or I'm sorry, the Pacers actually won, but it was just not that exciting of a game. It was a lot of just missed.
Was that tonight?
Yeah, that was tonight. So.
Okay, right, I'm changing. No.
Okay. No, the series is tied 1-1 on that one.
I know it is.
Yeah. So the last one is the Miami versus the Nets.
I don't have to. I don't think anybody. I'm just going to pick for everybody on this one. Miami wins a series. Nets are going to be lucky if they're not swept. I think they'll be lucky to win a game.
I do too. I want to see Brooklyn pull it off, but they're
not going to do it. I mean, I want to win the lottery too, and that's probably not going to happen.
All right, John, you gonna stick with that, Miami?
I'll go with that.
All right, yeah, that's undisputed. I don't think that there's gonna be any marks.
Yeah, if it happens, Jason will shave his head.
Yeah, I don't want that to happen. All right, here comes a fun one. This is gonna be the NHL picks.
Could you just make my picks?
Yeah, you know what? I mean, why don't you make mine for me too?
Come on, that's half the fun.
Okay, just shout them out because we'll have nothing to back it up. I'll just pick.
Chicago, Minnesota.
I'll go Chicago.
That's a pretty good choice.
Chicago.
Oh man, this is not going to be any fun if nobody picks any different ones.
All right. Well, pick a different one. You got the ability to.
Probably will on this one. The Ducks the Kings.
Oh, you know what?
The Ducks.
I'm
Yeah.
kind of there. John's there too because it's an Anaheim thing, and
You're
you
going
know
for-
they're not real Kings. The Ducks are for real.
So what are you saying? You
I'm
want?
going Ducks.
All right.
What about?
I'm gonna pick the Kings.
Okay, I'm in between. I'm not really sure.
I'm gonna pick the Kings because I think the Kings really want it. I think the
Okay,
Ducks want it, but they don't want it as bad as the Kings do. So we'll just go.
because they're okay. Fair enough.
Beantown, Boston, Montreal. This is actually a pretty good series.
I won't pick Boston for anything.
Well, this is a tough one for me because I don't want to pick Boston, but I don't want to pick a non-American team either. So I will have to go nay on this one. I can't pick.
You have to pick. You have to pick one.
Okay, I pick a tie.
They can't die. It's a 7 series.
I pick one of the plane crashes.
Still, somebody wins.
All right, just because I don't like Boston, but I would still take. I'm going to pick the good old U.S. of A. before I'm going to pick another country.
Oh God.
So hey, that's my reasoning. You have yours. I got mine.
Okay.
What do you got, John? What do you think?
Oh, I won't pick Boston for anything.
Too, huh?
I hate Boston.
Montreal.
Who'd you take, Jay?
I actually take Boston out of this series. Although Montreal is leading the series 2-1, I think that Boston will pull it out.
Okay. Yeah, and what are the teams? Boston, what? The Canucks?
Yeah.
Jeez.
Right. All right, the last one, Pittsburgh, New York.
I'm Pittsburgh. I just I don't. That's the only team I know. They got one of the best players, right? What's his name? One of your favorite players too. What's his name?
I can't think of it.
God.
Come on.
He's not watching.
Strasburg. What's his name?
No.
Beyonce. No, that's not it. Ringing a bell.
You thinking of Malcolm?
No. What? Seriously, what's his name?
Cindy Crybaby.
Crosby.
Crosby.
Yeah, I'm taking Pittsburgh.
All right.
I'll pick New York. Why not?
New York, NYR, New York Rangers. As much as it pains me to do so,
As much as the Penguins do to do so.
yeah, I'm going to pick Pittsburgh on this one. I do not want them to see him win. I'm hoping I'm wrong. I really do. Pittsburgh is leading the series 3-1. But
stranger things have happened.
No, well, actually, what happened last round with LA and San Jose. San Jose won the first 3 games. LA was down 0-3, and they come back and win the series. They won 3 games and won the series. So
wow, that's pretty incredible. You don't see that happen in sports very often.
Not often.
Not in professional sports. Yeah, it's a very low percentage.
I got them all written down. I'll put them in our.
Hey, wait, John. What was your ironclad pick of the week? You got to pick one. I hope it's not the New York one.
Oh gosh, I don't. Which one was it?
Portland, right?
Yeah, that was it.
That was your ironclad pick of the week.
Ironclad pick of the week.
Okay, I just took a second mortgage out. Thanks, John.
Hey man, anytime. You know what? If it doesn't work out for you, I'll give you a refund on what you paid.
Thanks, buddy.
Oh man.
Good looking out. All right. So does that conclude the live portion of our show?
I think that's going to wrap up the show. The show for show.
I just got to look at my list here. Did I have anything else that we had to talk about? Meeting with.
Wrote it 5 minutes ago.
Entertainment. Hey, can we do a close with this? And I don't have anything. I'm hoping maybe John can step up here. But just because I like the idea so much, John, do you have like a quote that you could do? I mean, I know you got 1,000 quotes, but something that comes to mind that maybe you could quiz us on or just share, have fun, do something with it, just kind of wrap it up.
Wow, you caught me completely off guard.
I know, but you're both guns loaded, man. You're always ready to go.
Why not? Boy, you really did catch me off. That's the problem. I got so many things in my head.
I tell you what, why don't you mull on it for a second, and Jason and I will talk for a minute or so on nanotechnology.
Wow. I used one of my favorite quotes. Dave already knows it because I said it to him. I said it to him the other day. But okay, so one of my favorite quotes out of one of my favorite movies is "Leave the gun, take the cannoli."
I'll leave that up to Jason because I do know.
You gotta be specific about it.
Say what now?
Leave the gun, take the cannoli.
Hint, Jason. Under a pineapple, under the sea.
I mean, I'm assuming it's a Godfather reference.
Well, you can't assume, and it either it is or it isn't.
It is. It's from the Godfather, the first one.
It is. You are correct. It is from the first Godfather movie. That was an easy one. I promise I will open the show with some much more difficult quotes that you'll have to think on.
So we'll do that as like a segment, but where it'll fall in the show, or maybe we'll have a couple of them. We'll see how they go because they're kind of fun, and I think that would be kind of a fun deal to do the quotes. We all like movie quotes. All guys I know like movie quotes. If you don't like movie quotes, you're probably not a guy. That's my opinion. Now I honestly think, I mean, in our daily lives, we probably do a quote or two a day at least. I mean, it's just in our DNA. That's what we do. We live through them. So quotes are always fun. So I'm looking forward to that part of the show.
Me too.
All right, let's wrap it up. I gotta go to bed.
Hey, you can't say that on the show. I mean, come on, we're live. We got our ones of viewers.
All right. Well, good show, guys.
Many
All right.
viewers. All right, we're starting it up again. All right. Next week, DP
Same time.
topic. All right.
Good night, America.
See you guys.